Hello. It is a very lovely day out, and so I thought I would film today's video out here. And today's money management video is not going to be kind of sit down and look at the budget with me. I think I have shared enough of those. But here's kind of more what it looks like um, during months maybe where there's just not a whole lot of income coming in, or something came up, or something to that effect. So this month, I sat down with the checkbook, balanced the checkbook, and then I knew that I needed to pull out of our checking to do our like cash envelope systems a certain amount. Well, there wasn't enough in the checking account to complete that. And this happens. Sometimes it's, a certain amount pulled. But this time it was going to be about $1,000 that I would need to pull out of savings. And it's not something that I typically talk about, I don't think, but it is something there. And then it's always a surprise to people when I bring it up that yes, we have a savings account when we live frugally like this, and this is why. When we get our tax return, that money is immediately put into our savings account. And the reason for that is throughout the year we will come into situations where I need to pull from it in order to meet our expenses of this month. And this is one of those times. We don't typically use it for things like remodeling the house or going on a vacation or during spring break taking our trips or whatever it is. It typically goes into that savings account to be used for our household month by month. And that's just how we've done it for many years. And again, it's just not something I normally think of when I'm filming videos. When you've done something forever, you don't typically think about how you're doing it. So if we were to take what my husband makes in a year, add my money to it, and then add our tax return on top of that, we still end up being below the poverty income level. For our size family, for our area, it's just how it works. So the accusation that I really don't live below poverty level, yeah, the numbers, I'm still under poverty level. We still are under 40,000. We are still under 35,000. No, we're a little above $35,000 a year with all of that. So for our size family and even for where we live, it is still considered poverty income level. I use that term mainly, yes, it's not to do clickbait, but for people in poverty income levels trying to figure out how to make this work, it's something that can connect. So this is how we live, this is how we do things, and so forth. When I make these videos, I'm really looking at the videos that I make for people like me that we're just getting started out in life and not really kind of knowing what to do and not really having anybody that I could just go and be like, okay, here is everything, show me, help me learn. I really didn't have anybody because everybody's income has always been higher than me. And I ended up turning around and helping them a lot of those times in those situations. There was a lot of times when I would see somebody living small and frugally, and I would ask them, like, well, what are you doing? And it would end up being things that would later on actually harm us. So, for example, someone's like, well, I needed a reliable car, so I went and I got a loan on it because the loan, I don't have to pay it for 5 years, and then I would only get this percent interest. I'm like, yes, but then for 5 years you have to figure out how you're going to pay that, and I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. What if in 5 years we're in a more financial tight spot? And it was a lot of information like that that really harmed me. What was really helpful to me were things like, okay, um, instead of taking your $25 every week to make this work for your family of 4, why don't you save it and then in 1 month kind of go and get more bulk items that will last a little bit longer and then stretch that money out a little bit way. But you're not really thinking of that. You're thinking, I have $25 this week. My husband just cashed his paycheck. I have $25. And you kind of go on from that. Now, as inflation is hitting a lot, and a lot of people are starting to realize that they want out of that lifestyle, they don't want to be living in constant debt, constant grinding of the teeth until the next paycheck. They're looking for other ways to do better in finances, and I'm saying, look, I've been there. This is what I have learned so far. Here's what I am continuing to learn, and here are ways that you guys are helping me as well. And that's kind of where these videos end up going off of. So, yeah, this month we pulled from savings in order to meet all the bills. That did not include groceries. I think. Well, let me go back a little bit. It did include groceries, but in a different way. So, the amount, I give specific numbers here because, again, it's one way to kind of help figure out life. The specific numbers are what gets my mind going and rolling in different ways. So, to meet the gas needs for this month, to meet the offering, to meet all of the things, again, that we would need cash for, we pulled $885. Now, I was heading to the big city this past weekend, and I knew that I would hit Aldi, and I knew that I wanted some cash for that because I, at this point, have not been paid for any of my work that I've done this month. So I took $115, and I took the envelope of everything I had earned in the month of March selling stuff on the side. If it was cash handed to me, it went into that envelope. That envelope had about $160. So, going to the big city, I filled up my tank. That was about $50. I went to Aldi. That was $130. We went to 3 thrift stores where I was able to pick up 2 church pants that my son and my husband needed. I purchased a toy for a kid that has been loved. I mean, that toy has not left that kid's sight since it came home. So, I got my money's worth out of it already. And we picked up some rollerblades that at the time, I was like, my kids have been asking for rollerblades. We don't have $60 for rollerblades. I found a really nice pair. I looked it over. I checked everything out for $15. I brought it home. It lasted less than an hour. By the time my son put it on, the little thing snapped off. The side, when he was doing his, like, where you kind of lean to the side to turn, that piece of plastic broke off. So unfortunately, that was a $15 loss. It happens, unfortunately. People think, well, they're not good, so we'll take them to the thrift store. Well, people that are looking for bargains, even looking it over and looking at the wheels, like, oh wow, these have barely been used. They look nice. That's probably what happened. They sat and then the plastic got weak. So there was $15 there that I spent. You'll see the grocery haul in a little bit. The pants, the toy. Picked up several shirts for my second son. 2 that were new at Ross. My sister went to Ross. I picked up 2 new shirts there and 1 pack of towels. I'm going to try and see if these last longer than Walmart's. They look nice. Went for that. And pretty much, anyway, all of that to say, I think I had like $5 left in that one envelope from the money that I took. So the $115 and the $160, did I say? I don't remember. Now I'm like blanking. I think it was $160. So what was that? 285. Again, gas at that amount right there just kind of took a lot of it. So it kind of goes down quickly. Shopping. There were so many things that I ended up putting back. Like I would pick a book up. Oh, I really want to read this. I have enough to read. I'm going to put that book back. Oh, this would be something really nice to help contain these toys. Nope, I don't need it. I'm going to put it back. There was a lot of things like that I would pick up thinking, okay, this is, cheaper than what I would buy in the store, but just because something is cheaper than something in the store doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to come home with me and something that will benefit my family right now. So that's kind of all of these frugal living tips that, you think, oh, well, it's cheaper than the store, I can just get it. Well, it's not a need, and it's not really going to benefit your family later on if you end up just getting rid of it because you're trying to declutter and realize that it wasn't something that you really wanted anyways. So this month, going into April, I'm going to start that envelope again. Whatever I can sell, I just put the money in there. A lot of it has been secondhand stuff. And just trying to not take for granted every little dollar that comes in from the stuff I've sold. It was amazing how quickly that went. Also, this coming month, this is April. So this weekend, my son is having a birthday, and that was one thing that he really wanted. He wanted to have a birthday party with some friends. So we're going to do that. That has a cost that comes in. So a lot of this month is just going to be really trying to focus in on rebuilding that envelope that I had started last month with everything that I earned just to put in there. Well, that was hopefully going to be money that I was able to put on the mortgage, try to pay our mortgage off as quickly as possible, just so that we have that, we're not paying extra into interest, and then we have all of that money that's just staying in our pockets. It may just end up being grocery money. I'm really trying to use the food pantry wisely and to the best of my ability is a huge component right now. It is April and it has been beautiful. I'm sure you can hear the birds and the little breeze is flying. It's a little bit warmer today, so we're going to be starting the garden. I'm actually going to restart that sodbuster garden. I don't really call myself a homestead because I know people have just thoughts on what that is, and that is not my house. I do what I can with what I have where I am, but it is not, a huge homestead. But we really want to make it work for our family in whatever way we can. So that's going to be starting back up. You will see the monthly updates at the first of each month. I have some clips that I can overlay right now. We have started some seeds. My one daughter really wants to try to sell peppers and tomatoes this year, so she has started those. We have a pepper plant just taking off. I have seeds in the ground. I planted my peas already. I have garlic going crazy. I have raspberry bushes that are so happy right now. And it's a beautiful time. The compost is just growing rich, and it is definitely time for me to get my hands in the soil. I have learned that I definitely tend to go a little bit more towards like moody winters. Not something I ever thought would be me, but I definitely really enjoy when I can be out in the garden and the sunshine. So really looking forward to that, kind of cleaning out the strawberry beds and kind of assessing what will be really good for our family this year, what will be very helpful and useful, and all of that. So that will end up helping play a huge part in our budget, and even with container gardens, just doing whatever you can is so helpful and beneficial. and really gets you thinking about, well, I have this on hand, how would I use this? Even if I'm not purchasing it, I have it, so why wouldn't I use it? So that's pretty much like the financial update for April, kind of going into this month. Money, in terms of money and work and whatnot, I'm about to really tick some people off. In May, I will be finishing up my final kids that I have babysat, so I will have no more babysitting at this time. I have let go of 2 other jobs that pretty much take up a lot of time but don't bring in a lot of income. And what I'm hoping to do is just really, I do a lot of crafts. I really enjoy crafting, and I can do that while homeschooling children. And so I'm really hoping I can bring that kind of back into my life, just because I have the stuff here and I have the knowledge here. We'll see kind of how that works in terms of bringing in income. Marketing is not my strength. I hate marketing. I hate it with a passion. I don't like trying to convince people they need to buy something while I'm over here convincing you to save all your money. So this will be interesting, but it's until I have revelation from the Lord on what I need to do. I know that I need to really turn my attention to my family, especially my kids. So it'll be interesting to see just what this looks like going forward into our budget, because I'll have, 2 more paychecks for the kid I babysit. YouTube, again, when I first started this with YouTube and whatever, there was like this whole, we don't talk about how much we make on YouTube, and I have yet to be able to research as to if this is accurate or not, and I really don't want to get in trouble. So I'm giving you a range of within $10 of what I make, so that I'm not giving the exact amount and then I am obeying rules. But my last paycheck from YouTube was $130, and remember, that's within $10. So between that, the kid I babysit, and my online work with somebody else, I have $250, $350, $375. I have about $400, and so that is going to pay for phone bills and groceries and our insurance. So that leaves about $125 for groceries after what I have spent so far. If you are a member of the Facebook community, I'm really working harder to be active there and make the content more valuable for your $5 a month contribution. And I thank you guys so much for that have contributed to that. That is another amount that I earned, and we earned $10 last month. So thank you again for the 2 people that contributed to that. It was very helpful. The printables are still there. I have 2 printables that I want to put in there this month that I'm working on. Not typically crafty in that, but my daughter's actually learning to do more of that kind of thing, so she's been helping me. And so those will be coming forth soon. So I would love to know what you are working on in your financial goals for the month of April. Please leave them down below. I do read your comments. I don't have all the time that I used to be able to sit down and respond, but please know that I read them. And then when I have extra pockets of time, I go in and I try to respond to those of you that I can. Alright, it is time for me to go and work on lunch. Videos that are coming up this month will be meals that we're eating on a frugal budget. The meals that we had in March, trying to use up all of the basically the food pantry stuff that I've been kind of holding on to for a while, and it needs to be kind of rotated through. So that's a lot of March, but we'll continue that forward. And then I have a couple of videos like what to do with sweet potatoes, what to do with sauerkraut. Those are coming up. I just haven't really made anything spectacular, and you kind of want like something in there to be spectacular, but we're a very simple family. So probably should just clean that up and just be like, okay, this is what we do. So thank you again for watching today's video. I will end here, and I will see you in the next.